Yeah, big respect to all Massive and crew, and this is the original Gersham representing with a thing called Dazzle Spotlight. This is no flashlight, but this is the spotlight. So just tune in and enjoy the vibration. See? So the way I got into music was when I was like 8 years old. I was playing drums in the church. So I grew up in church, OC Church of God, and I started playing drums at church. And then one of the members in the church, he saw my talent and he wanted me to be part of his band, which was a country band at the time, and I joined that. And then at 14 years, we started playing at hotels, traveling, did some shows in St. Croix, Jamaica, etc. Played at the hotels in Coconut Bay and Chasney, Jade Mountain. Yeah, and that's how I got into music per se. But the way I got into singing was during my time playing drums. I used to do a little backup vocals and stuff, but I moved to Castries because I'm originally from Viewfort. I moved to Castries and I joined a band called N Voice, and that's how I became like a lead vocalist. And then, yeah man, that's how the journey began. So the group that I did backup with was a band called LM Stone Country Band. So I used to play drums for them and do some harmonies as well. So, and here and there I would sing a few songs like Bless the Broken Road, these kind of things, you know. But country was my foundation. Country and Western was my foundation with LM Stone. Big respect to LM Stone every time for giving me a shot, because I was only a kid at the time. Yeah, and then moving up to Castries, I met up with an old friend of mine from church, Davon Segis. Yeah, and he told me like there was an opening in his band because their lead singer is gonna be moving, so come do an audition. Yeah, so my first audition was a reggae gig. Yeah, because them times I was just growing my little dreads and yeah man, so yeah, that's how it all started. And then I was kind of nervous, to be honest, because I've never come out from the comfort of being behind a drums, because it's easier being behind a shell and you can sing, nobody really seeing you too much. But then to be standing, you have to have posture, you have to have a vibes, you have to have, you know, your little, you know, charisma and things. So it was kind of nerve-wracking at first, but I pulled through and here we are today. Yeah. Well, I dabbled into various different types of genres and sounds per se. See, a lot of people tend to label me as a reggae artist based on what I've released already and what I'm speaking about in that time. But I want to clarify that I'm a musician, and being a musician doesn't box you to any one genre or whatever. I'm into hip-hop, I'm into jazz, I'm into soul, because I'm more like a soulful singer. So I'm into soul, I'm into reggae, of course, a little bit of soca here and there, right? With different styles. I'll play with it with different styles, but you can put me on any beat and what I'm saying is going to say the same, because it's my message that is what stands out. It's not about the type of music that you sing, it's more or less the message that's coming out from my music. Yeah, so that's what I do. And pretty soon you'll hear a bunch of that, because I have a few releases coming soon. You'll hear some dancehall, you'll hear some way back kind of vibes, you know, them kind of thing. You'll hear some hip hop, you'll hear some R&B. Yeah, but the message stays the same. And if what I'm speaking about is reggae, then everything I will be saying and singing will be reggae. See? I've collaborated with different artists. To name a few, I would say KO is one of them. I have a couple songs with KO. I have this little brethren of mine, very talented young individual, Justice. Yeah, and the chemistry me and him have, like, we have a unique chemistry. Like, we'll just go to studio, have nothing in mind, and then out of nowhere would create like three songs in like one session, you know. So it's like vibes like that is effortless energy, and that's how music's supposed to be. Like I always tell people, like, music have to always feel and be effortless. If it's not, then you're in the wrong field of work. You know what I mean? If what you're doing is not effortless and you're not enjoying it while doing it, then you're in the wrong place. I collaborated with a few people. I have a kind of zoukish compa song. I collaborated with a lady from France. That'll be coming out pretty soon, hopefully before the year ends. I have a collaboration that's out. It's called Sweetness. Working on a video for it right now. That's with a guy from England. Tutan is his name. I have another one with Bazooka. Bazooka the Disciple. That was a nice one. That's one of my favorite, actually. Yeah, it's a nice little conscious track. You can check that out. The name of the song is called Smile Back. You can check that out on iTunes or wherever. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to give you a little sample of what my verse sounds like on Bazooka's song. It goes something like, teardrops on my pillow, wash my sins. We're rising from the ashes again, walking through this valley with no fear. We're rising from the ashes again, again, again. We're rising again, again, again. We're smiling again, again, again. Yeah, man. Well, my proudest moment being a musician to date, and probably for the rest of my life, will be me releasing my first song ever. Yeah, man, that is my proudest moment. That's the time that I actually made people aware of me having something to say, like me having my own voice, not just singing from somebody else's perspective or anything. For me personally, like, that is one of my proudest moments, me having the courage to put my voice out there. So, because I mean, like, you live in a world where, especially in 2022, there's a bunch of judgments, like, everywhere. See what I say? So, like, you putting your voice out there, you put yourself open to criticism, judgment, people watching you in a certain way, frowning on you, or embracing you the same way. So whatever that is, you know, you putting your best foot forward and releasing your first song, yeah, man, that's a proud moment. Yeah. A moment where music has helped me or enabled me to improve myself was, you can say, like, that last song that I released, Everything is Everything. Like, for that time we were going through COVID and all that kind of thing, and everything was just spiraling around, you know, like, everything was spiraling. So with that being said, like, me writing that song and the meditation I was in that time, I was encouraging myself. And to be exact, like, every song that I ever write or ever wrote or ever thought of or ever came to me in any point was me encouraging myself. And that's what I try to do in my music, encourage myself first, and then you can in turn share that with other people. If you can't encourage yourself, then what's the sense? Or if you can't love yourself, so what's the sense you're trying to love somebody else? You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, like, that last song, like, we're going through a lot, like, no work, especially for a musician. There's no jobs. I mean, you have to get out of your comfort zone, try and look for a little construction job or some garden, you know, some shit. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, for somebody like me, like, my full priority has always been music. Like I said, like, I was going to school still. I was in Form 4 when I started taking that serious. And I was 14, and that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever loved. So with that being stripped away from you, then you have to find ways to smile, even regardless of the storm. So that's what that song definitely was about. Yeah, so that's one of the moments where it helped me propel myself to keeping everything nice and level. So the song Everything is Everything, it came during a time where we're experiencing the pandemic, and Afa Ale, as everybody know, big respect to Afa every time. He came to me with a second rhythm. I did the first one with him that was on the new wave rhythm, the song Your Love. You can check that out. big respect to Alpha again. So he came up with this lavender rhythm, and then he pitched it to me, and he told me that he wanted me to be on that rhythm as well. So when he sent it to me, I listened to it, and during that time he was extremely creative with his production and thing, and then he sent it to me, and then I vibed it, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. And so I dived into it. I started doing some melodies and stuff, and then I said, all right, let me write this song. And then I went deep inside myself, and I started creating the song, because I was just speaking of what I was feeling in that time. And I was like, when your skies turn, you know. This, I was like, yeah, man, that makes sense. So I started writing it. I read the entire first verse, the entire chorus, and then he told me, come to the studio, because the beat wasn't even finished yet. So he told me come to the studio to come record and do it and do my verse on it and stuff. So I did that.